procedures in business. And so what I envision, and I'm not there yet, but I'm going to say it publicly, is that NORML, as the Better Business Bureau of the industry, aligns with Veridian, which is trying to bring the best people and the best operators so that we really can bring professionalism to the space. That's my dream. Norm, please come on up.
Thank you. You know, the exciting thing about addressing august rooms like this is you come here and there are more people sometimes outside, you know, getting water, congregating, interacting, networking, and then in the next room in the exhibit hall than there are sometimes in the auditorium itself. But the good news for all of you is I'm only giving out loose joints to people who are here listening to me. Except the Mexicans, they might be rapists, they can't have loose joints. Out of the questions, no loose joints for Mexicans, right? Listen, we're in Florida, the rules are different here. Only in Florida can you win 58% of the vote and lose an election. But that's what happened 2 years ago with our constitutional amendment, Amendment 2 on medical marijuana, that was so advocated so eloquently by Ben Pollara and John Morgan and United for Care, who are represented here today. And if you want to make your investment worth something tomorrow, then you have to invest in United for Care today. Because we need to get to that vaulted 60% to pass a constitutional amendment in Florida to legitimize the businesses you want to work towards. We're going to do it this year. We're going to do it. But we need your help. And we can't, coming from Brooklyn, the Catskill Mountains, Farmer Arnold always told me you can't count your chickens before they hatch. We can't be opening up stores before we count the votes. So work first and foremost at helping United for Care, John Morgan, and Ben Pollara pass this amendment in Florida so their vision becomes your reality. NORML and its business network is one of the great nonprofit advocacy groups in the nation. And we're proud to partner today with Veridian because Scott, a kid from Brooklyn, like myself, has made hard work his motto and success his calling. The cannabis investment industry, the hemp industry is exploding nationally and internationally. But it's not just about cannabis and communes. It's not about awarding the High Times Cannabis Cup to the best new strain of purple diesel. It's about finding a business model that will be a diesel engine to fuel economic growth for an emerging industry of professionals and not just pot smokers. This exciting new industry is in a special place because while there is opportunity, there are obstacles. While there are dollars to be made, there are doors to be broken down. While there are financial rewards to be seized, there are frightening risks to be managed. You see, for the first time in America, whether it is Fort Worth or Fort Lauderdale, Ohio or Oregon, we are all talking about incorporation instead of incarceration. As our society starts to responsibly regulate marijuana, we will be able to stop arresting pot smokers. And over 20 million have been arrested since 1972. We will have deals over the counter instead of in dark alleys. We will be using police agencies to protect your enterprises rather than arrest our citizens. The new tomorrow will be safer and saner, more secure, and less risky. NORML will be calling on state agencies to promote business models that advance best practices instead of orchestrating drug raids that lock people up. We will be cultivating marijuana lawfully instead of posting bonds for growing it illegally. We will treat drug abusers with therapists and doctors rather than handcuffs and billy clubs. But for investors today, for those of you here today, there are many and multiple concerns which speak out for caution, which that gentleman from that nice law firm just talked about a few minutes ago. The federal and state government is still operating on different planes. Neither Congress nor the courts have yet rescheduled marijuana. Physicians can't prescribe it freely. In fact, if you looked at the Wall Street Journal this week in Massachusetts, 2 doctors had just had their license suspended for prescribing marijuana too freely. The IRS has inhibited marijuana businesses from taking lawful deductions other new startups are routinely granted, and you just heard from the speaker talking about security and how his business clients sometimes have as much as $150,000 cash in their back store at the end of the day, and they have to send 2 unarmed people to the bank if the bank is willing to take their money, which they're sometimes not willing to. Because banking regulators have restricted dispensaries from accepting and using premium banks and credit cards in their establishments. Bankruptcies have been disallowed for retail marijuana shops because the sale of cannabis is still illegal under federal law. States are limiting access to marijuana licenses to only the rich and well-endowed, creating illegal monopolies which are being challenged in court. Cities and states where marijuana dispensaries have not even been lawfully authorized, like right here a mile away in Lauderdale by the Sea, has passed a ban on marijuana dispensaries opening even before we passed the amendment. You'd think that we're priests giving candy to boys. The drug war may be coming to an end, but the corporate fights in civil courts is just beginning. So there will be new opportunities for legislators to act nobly and lawyers to act legally. But as such, your investment today, sailing in these new and untested, uncharted waters, makes you all America's new drug warriors. You're seeding in an era of consumer advocacy, cannabis normalization, and marijuana legalization. And as one speaker noted, industrial hemp is right around the corner. So we better get it right. We better get it right. We better get it right. And that's where NORML comes in. That's where I see this partnership with Viridian and other progressive enterprises. We turn our energy and efforts to the cause and goal of being who NORML always should have been, the Better Business Bureau for America's cannabis consumers, advocating for their rights instead of fighting for their freedom. Joining with the NORML Business Network will be the equivalent of getting the Good Housekeeping seal of approval for your enterprise. Our goal is to become consumer advocates for cannabis the way Ralph Nader was for cars. We want to partner with investors and growers and entrepreneurs who will endorse best practices, deliver quality products, and ensure universal access at reasonable prices. If cannabis is going to be taxed and regulated by the government, we want seatbelts for the industry. We don't want pesticides poisoning our pot, and we don't want scales falsifying weights. We want businesses held accountable, and no butchers bloodying our field. You may be regulated, you may be taxed, but it's far better that those revenues go to build businesses and schools for your kids than prisons for pot users. We want cannabis labor laws, good manufacturing practices, and tax relief for new businesses, not tax burdens. NORML will lend and license its name to those businesses serving the cannabis consumer. So yes, you may be investors, but you're tomorrow's drug warriors today. You're looking good, you're looking to make good on the American dream. But you're not just living for yourself. You're helping create a fairer and just America. Because many of those people that were arrested are still in jail and still incarcerated. So we, NORML, will form strategic partnerships with companies that, how shall I say this, have a higher purpose. consumers were never the criminals. That's what you need to understand. For 40 years as a defense attorney, I do. It's the laws that have been unjust and the politicians who have supported them that have always been the real criminals. Too many of us went to jail too often for no good reason and no just cause. But as you become legal today, you have to say no to it being illegal anymore. No way, no how. The cannabis consumers, the industry has to come out of the closet the way gay people did, open up and say you're not going to take it anymore. Marijuana in 2025 will be markedly different. The growers who did time for cultivation yesterday will be your bud tenders tomorrow. The kids who are being drug tested by probation officers will be managing your dispensaries instead. Cops who investigated illegal drug deals will be providing security for your customers in retail stores. Last week in Aspen, Colorado, the retiring U.S. Attorney for the state of Kansas came and spoke at the Normal Legal Committee conference endorsing the decriminalization of marijuana, saying that for too long he has been putting people in jail too wrongly for too many years. It's time the drug war ended. It's a whole new world that's coming together, and we have to preserve it. For me, as Scott said, it's 44 years in the industry. That was once a crime. I typically say that my mom and dad used to say this, what was my youthful indiscretion has become my lifetime calling. It's a different world that we're in, and a different world that we have to build. Normal asks only that you ensure your business model has a conscience which contributes to your community, that it does not forget the epileptic child with autism or the United States veteran with PTSD, both of whom will benefit from medical marijuana. There's one such veteran here today, Robert Jordan, a Vietnam vet who has taken care of his wife for over 25 years, living as she has with a terribly disabling disease. I don't know if Kathy is with her. The state of Florida is with him. Kathy Jordan Medical Cannabis Act was proposed to the legislature. It's a different world. We have to protect those who have been hurt. Seed America's future then by underwriting those initiatives which finally free the leaf from coast to coast. Support scholarships, applaud internships, work towards apprenticeships, make sure your workers are safe, your pay is fair, and your business models gender equal. Finally, this Friday in Miami, in the United States District Court, I will be at a sentencing hearing on behalf of a couple whose 2 grow houses have them facing a mandatory 60 months in prison, 5 years in jail. I look around and see all of you looking for ways to make money. My clients next month will be making license plates. America's freedom can't depend on your zip code. Keep in mind that while 24 states have taken a plunge towards THC medicalization or legalization, we have a ways to go. There are 50 states in our union. Pot is not free in 26 of them. You are sitting in a room and a venue where that is in fact so. There are still people drowning in the water, so don't just yet throw a celebration party by the shore. Make a difference. We have right and history and votes on our side this time. America embraces those who expand their freedoms, propose their rights, and advocate to build bridges, not walls. Germany built a wall once. How'd that go? On behalf of Normal and all those friends you have seen walled in and locked up for too many years, who've been forced to post bonds, pay lawyers, and serve time, on behalf of all those people, make your commitment to this industry, to this medicine we call marijuana, not just mercenary, but meaningful and moral. Protect the cannabis consumers who will generate your future incomes and pay your mortgages. Scott is right. Your new business is not just about cannabis. It's about having a conscience, building a community, and making a commitment to a better tomorrow. May your purpose be pure, your goals generous, and your dreams fulfilled. And may we finally free that golden leaf. Thank you.
Wow. Well, if you were sleeping before, you're not sleeping anymore. So we're going to continue along the path of